Hakeem Jeffries picked the wrong fight, and it's about to backfire. Take a look.
And then you got Karoline Leavitt, who's sick. She's out of control. And I'm not sure whether she's just demented, ignorant, a stone-cold liar, or all of the above.
Washington has descended into chaos once again. The shutdown has turned Capitol Hill into a battlefield of blame, with politicians pointing fingers instead of finding solutions. But this time, one voice cut through the noise: Karoline Leavitt. When she finally fired back, her words didn't just make headlines. They hit like a political thunderclap, shaking both sides of the aisle.
Hakeem Jeffries should stop calling me names. He should stop trying to fight my boss, President Trump, and he should go back to doing what he was elected to do, the business of the American people in Congress, and encourage Senate Democrats to open the government.
That's exactly why we're breaking it all down today. No spin, no partisan echo chambers, just straight talk and common sense. If you're someone who still believes in accountability over ideology, then go ahead and hit that subscribe button, because what happened next reveals exactly how far political theater in Washington has gone, and why Americans are sick of it.
Illegal aliens and violent criminals. That is who the Democrat Party is catering to, not the Trump administration and not the White House and not the Republican Party, who is standing up for law-abiding Americans, not just across the country, but around the world.
Now, these comments prompted this unhinged meltdown from the House Minority Leader, Hakeem Jeffries. Take a look.
You got Karoline Leavitt, who's sick. She's out of control. And I'm not sure whether she's just demented, ignorant, a stone-cold liar, or all of the above. But the notion that an official White House spokesperson would say that the Democratic Party consists of terrorists, violent criminals, and undocumented immigrants, this makes no sense. That this is what the American people are getting from the Trump administration in the middle of a shutdown.
Let's be clear. Reckless generalizations like this are never okay. We called out Hillary Clinton when she dismissed half the country as a basket of deplorables. And we did the same when President Biden labeled Trump supporters garbage. This time is no different. When nearly 44 million Democrats are painted as terrorists, illegals, or criminals, that's not political strategy, that's division. If this were an election year, those words alone could have blown up in the GOP's face overnight. And coming from the administration's top communicator, it's not just careless, it's dangerous. To be fair, Hakeem Jeffries' clapback wasn't graceful either. Even in a heated shutdown, dragging the press secretary into the mud helps no one. Later, Karoline appeared on Hannity to clear the air, and her response surprised everyone.
I just have a funny feeling you might want to respond to all of this.
I sure would, Sean, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to do so. Look, Hakeem Jeffries is simply lashing out because he knows that I am telling the truth about the modern-day Democrat Party. When it comes to illegal aliens, the American people know the truth about that. The Democrats allowed them to flood our country. Why? Because they view that constituency as their future voters. And when it comes to violent criminals, look at what the Democrats support in terms of crime. Soft on crime policies like cashless bail, like letting violent criminals out back into the streets so they can recommit violent offenses against law-abiding American citizens.
That exchange showed something rare in today's politics: restraint and focus. Karoline didn't take the bait. She redirected the conversation away from petty insults and straight back to policy. The way it should be. Now, yes, Jeffries has defended the right to protest on campuses, but even he's admitted those demonstrations cross the line when they drift into anti-Semitism or threats of violence. Ironically, that stance drew backlash from the very activists he supported. Still, Karoline's point stood firm. It's this administration that's allowed the border crisis to spiral and pushed so-called reforms that hurt more than they helped. And she wasn't done yet. She had one more message for Jeffries: stop throwing labels and start fixing problems.
And that's why they're holding this country hostage right now from law-abiding, tax-paying American citizens who want the government to be open. So Hakeem Jeffries should stop calling me names. He should stop trying to fight my boss, President Trump. And he should go back to doing what he was elected to do, the business of the American people in Congress, and encourage Senate Democrats to open the government. And I see Hakeem Jeffries saying House Republicans are out. They're not even here. Yeah, because they did their jobs and they passed a clean continuing resolution at the behest of President Trump to keep the government open. And now Senate Democrats and Chuck Schumer are blocking that to fight Donald Trump, and it's despicable.
Karoline doubled down on the border issue, arguing that no nation can have fiscal responsibility while ignoring security. But the conversation didn't stop there. It quickly shifted to another growing concern: the Democrats' staggering spending demands, including that now infamous $1.5 trillion price tag.
Okay, I want to set the record straight here because he lied in what he's saying, and Democrats have been lying about this as well. And I watched you one day at the podium and you laid out the facts. They are demanding $1.5 trillion in new spending to keep the government open for 7 weeks. Wow, that's a lot of money. Included in that money, $200 billion, health care for illegals, the continuation of COVID subsidies for people well above the poverty level. That was meant to be temporary in the first place. They want to fund NPR, PBS, all these DEI.
Here's where things get interesting. If the so-called clean CR passes, yes, the government stays open for 7 more weeks. But that $1.5 trillion figure, that's the Democrats' ask, and it's projected to pile onto the national debt over the next decade. The cost comes mainly from 2 sources: repealing Trump-era Medicaid reforms and extending those temporary Obamacare subsidies that Biden promised would expire. And Karoline's criticism hits home. The House already passed its spending bill. What's stalling progress now is the Senate. Democrats are using the filibuster as leverage, bundling unrelated demands to push a wider agenda. It's a classic DC move, and Karoline wasn't afraid to call it out.
Their continuing resolution that they proposed to keep the government open included a poison pill that would have undone what President Trump's One Big Beautiful Bill did, which is to restrict illegal aliens from receiving Medicaid benefits. President Trump fixed that in the One Big Beautiful Bill, and Democrats want to take it away because they want these taxpayer-funded benefits to continue to go to illegal aliens in our country. This has been done for the past 4 years under the Biden administration, and the American people roundly rejected it. And you hear AOC, who is apparently the new leader of the Democrat Party in that CNN town hall, say to a concerned American when that American asked, "Do you want my taxpayer-funded benefits going to illegals?" She said, "That's a Republican talking point. Those aren't the real issues Americans are facing." That is a lie.
Like we said at the start, finger-pointing in Washington is a full-time sport. And while Karoline Leavitt made sharp, well-grounded points, the bigger picture remains grim. Neither side seems willing to compromise. The government is still shut down, and time is running out fast. Within days, SNAP benefits could stop